Hello and welcome to a new Garage Dad. Today I'm going to tackle a bad water leak on the 1.6 FSi, and what I believe it is something that's called the pipe of death. And the pipe of death is actually a pipe that runs between the water pump and the thermostat housing right at the back of the engine, and it sits underneath the inlet manifold, and there's also a bracket that holds the inlet manifold on. And I also believe that you've got to take the half shaft off to get to it as well. It's going to be quite a bit of a tricky job, and I've actually already ordered a pipe here, a second-hand pipe which I got on eBay, just to show you what it is. And you can see that this one here is damaged as well. And basically what happens is that the engine runs at a very high temperature, and these plastic parts, you know, they only last so long. And this one's done about 80,000 miles. And the lad who I got the car off said that it did have a slight water leak, but then all of a sudden it just blew on his drive. And I've had a look under the car, and it's absolutely caked in antifreeze, so it's obviously been going on a while. So I'm going to get in about it, and I believe, looking at various forums, that you can get to it from the top, or better, from the underside. And I tried to get a bit of information on it and on actually doing the job, and I couldn't get much, so I went online and I actually downloaded what looks like an Audi workshop manual, which is really good, and I'll put a description to it on the description below. And this actually makes it sound really easy, but I'm sure it's not. So I'm going to get in there and try and get the thing off. Apparently the pipe of death is hidden down in behind the manifold down in here, and to get to it I believe you've just got to take all this manifold and all these pipes and I don't know if you take the fuel rail off, but I'll find out in a minute. You've got to take all this off to get to it. It was difficult to show you actually doing this job because you've got to get your hands right down in there, and you wouldn't be able to see anything anyway, because there's about half a dozen pipes you've got to take off, and they've got these silly little clips on the end which you've got to use this tool with both hands. And I got the angled one so that I could get into some of them. I think when I put it back on I'm going to use hose clips and just put them all in the right places so it's easy to get off again if need be. But it really is quite tight in there, but it's actually quite simple when you get in about it, and just take the hoses off one by one, and then the gear levers, they come off really easily as well, and then you're straight into the thermostat housing, and it's only held on by 3 bolts, which are really easy to get off, and the whole thing just pulled out quite easily. And here's the pipe itself, and you can see here there's a crack that goes from here all the way along here, and this pipe's in some state, and I think somebody's had this pipe off before, because this is actually covered in sealant here on this end and on that end. But look at the condition it's in, and this is what happens if this pipe goes. So when they had this off, I just don't know why they didn't replace the pipe and put a new one on at the time. However, that's what they've done, and I've ordered a new pipe from Tom at Crew Audi, who was really helpful, so I'm getting the proper dealer part to put back on. So this is the actual thermostat housing itself, and this one looks in quite good nick, so I'm not going to replace it. And also it's about 160 quid, so you know, if it had a crack it would definitely have to be replaced, but I've had a right good look at it and it seems to be okay, so I'm going to keep this one. To get to the water pump housing to clean it, I'm going to have to get underneath the car and remove the bracket that holds on the inlet manifold, and also the right hand drive shaft, just to give you more room to get your hand in to give it a good clean. And also for reassembly of the pipe, I think it'd be very difficult trying to get the pipe into the water pump housing and making sure that it's in properly with those in place, because there's really not enough room to get your hand up and in there. So we're on the underside now, and you can see that this has been leaking for some time, because the antifreeze is absolutely caked onto all the components and the exhaust. So it's not just dropped its fluid all at once. This has been going on for some time, and somebody actually tried to botch up a repair on the pipe, which is a bit senseless. I think they should have just replaced the pipe at the time. But to get to the pipe, you've got to go up and under here, and you can see that the drive shaft's in the way, so you take those bolts out, which is quite easy, get that out of the way, and then there's a bracket that holds the inlet manifold on, that unbolts and pulls out the way. Then you can get up to the water pump to clean it, and also guide in the new pipe when the time comes. That's it, I've got the bracket off the back and the drive shaft disconnected, but it just confirms my hatred of working on front wheel drive cars. There's just no room back there whatsoever, and I'll just quickly show you the back side of the water pump where the pipe has got to be plugged into, and I've got access now to that so that I can give it a good clean. Look what came today, and it's a genuine dealer part, and these two symbols here actually tell you the month and year of manufacture. That's the pipe back in now, and to get the pipe back in, it was a difficult thing to show you because the space required to do the job is actually filled by your hands, and it's a difficult thing to film. But basically what I done was attach the pipe to the thermostat housing first, and then it actually goes down and in and round at an angle, comes round like that, and you can't do that with the bracket supporting the inlet manifold on, so that's why that's got to be taken off, and also getting in to clean the water pump housing as well. So once that is round and put back in, you've got to fit all these pipes on, and they've all got these little clips on them which are quite difficult to get into, and one by one you just keep putting them all on. That's everything done on the top half of the engine, so now I'm going to get down and underneath to fit the bracket back on the back, and there's another couple of things in there which I haven't a clue what they are, get them on as well, and then I'll get the water and antifreeze put back in the system and just check it, make sure that there's no leaks, and it also gets up to the correct temperature. So that's it all topped up, and I used this G12 coolant, which is the recommended coolant for it, and I'm going to run it for 5 to 10 minutes now, and then maybe take it on a little test drive and just double check the pipes, make sure that they're sealed, and the pipe at the back is sealed as well. With it being a 1.6 FSi, there's other issues with it. They're not the most reliable cars, and already the ABS light is on and the ignition key doesn't work. I put a new battery in it and it still doesn't operate the locking, central locking mechanism. So there'll probably be more videos coming along on this car in the future. I didn't pay a lot for it, so I don't know whether I'm going to keep it and run it for a while, or whether I'm just going to sell it. You know, at the end of the day there's not really a big market for these cars, so I might end up breaking it and saving it for parts for my 1.4 TDI. So I hope this video has helped anybody who's going to attempt this job. It wasn't an easy job, particularly in that you've got to get it up behind the engine to get access to the pipe and give it a good clean, but it is doable. So, as usual, if you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up, please subscribe. There'll be more videos coming along on the 1.4 TDI and the 1.6 FSi very soon.